Hi guys, welcome back to Tech with TJ. Today I'm going to show you my 3D printed 10-inch rack that I nicknamed the Nakatomi Rack Tower. I thought it was just kind of funny because, you know, of Die Hard and the tower that they're in. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Alright, now to building and parts, which you'll need to get started. So first thing you're going to need is filament because, like I said, the majority of this is 3D printed. I use PETG. That's kind of on, I guess, not really the low end, but that's what it recommends as the lowest. You can go to ABS, ASA, and those filaments, but I recommend just sticking with PETG because it's the cheaper option and it is heat resistant and strong. Next thing you'll need is rack rails. Just remember, whichever ones you buy, you need to buy 2 sets. I use NavePoint 12U rack rails, but I believe the files will also work with GatorWorks, or I forgot the name of the other rack rails, but there's 2 rack rails that are that these files will work with. Another thing you'll need is all the files. I will put in the description where you can find all of these, so that way you can do this project yourself. Alright, now to get started with the gear that I have a couple of things in there, mainly networking right now, hopefully going to expand it in the future. I have the in-main 12-port patch panel. That's so that my networking can be easily cable managed and I can clearly see what device is going where. The next thing I have is a 16-port gigabyte switch by Intellinet. I highly recommend it. I caught it on a sale at a store called Altex. I don't really know if they're a local store or if they're more popular everywhere else. I just know I caught it on sale there and got it for like $60, and so it's definitely worth it, especially if you need a bunch of stuff just plugged into it that doesn't need high bandwidth. Now the newest addition to my collection is the NickGiga 6-port 10 gig switch. It has 2 10 gig ports and 4 2.5 gig ports. I also caught that on sale for $77. And I really recommend that. It's really good. So now I have 2 Raspberry Pis. I have one 8 gig that I use for Casa OS to run a bunch of little services and things like that. Then I have a Pi 4 with 2 gigs of memory, and I use that specifically for Pi-hole, which Pi-hole is just a DNS, and it's mainly used for an ad blocker, but it's also good for some network traffic and looking what's coming in and what's going out. I will do a dedicated video about that later on. So now to get into the pros. The pros of this is it's fully customizable. Because most of it is 3D printed, you can choose the color, the filament type. Like I said, I would not go though with PLA. I definitely would go with PETG. I think they make like ABS, ASA, any of those materials that are rated for strength and for heat. It is cheaper than some of the metal ones because I was actually looking at the Rackmate T1, I believe is what it's called. And it's close to $200, and it's only 8U. I wanted 12U, and I got that. This whole project, I think, was only $120 to $130. Now, that's without all my equipment. So, I did save quite a bit of money going this route than buying something made of metal. It is also very lightweight and pretty sturdy. Like I said, that PETG is just, I think, the perfect filament to buy. I got mine on Amazon and it was $23 for two rolls. And I think it looks clean for a home project. I don't know about you guys, but when I've done home projects, they definitely are a functional thing. They're not a looker at all. I'm not a big home renovation person, but most of my home projects, they don't turn out too well. It's also just a fun DIY project. This project, it's kind of like putting Legos together because everything is it's fairly easy. You can kind of see where everything goes just from a picture. So you got that going for you. And like I said, it's just adult Legos, so it's pretty fun. Now the cons though of this. For me, that long print time, it took 2.5 days, and so this whole project for me to get it built, set up, and everything took about 4 days in total. For other people, if you have a bigger bed plate, if you can print overnight, things like that, multiple printers, then you'll be able to get this done probably fairly quick. And now PETG is strong, but how I was kind of comparing it to that Rackmate T1, that thing's made of metal, and so it's gonna be a lot sturdier. It's gonna feel a lot stronger, but the PETG will hold up just fine, just not with a ton of weight on it. And then I guess a con for some people could be that it, like I said, it does require a lot of assembly. And if you just want something that's going to out of the box work, then this might not be the project for you. So my overall thoughts, these are just thoughts that I had during the project and something that I thought I should share. I think that this is the perfect setup for any Homelab. I think that if you wanted a 10-inch rack and you don't want to spend that high cost and you don't mind doing a little work to put it together, it's 100% worth it. This project is also just very fun to put together if you like to put things together. Then after you're done, you got plenty of space for networking gear, Raspberry Pis. I'm looking at maybe getting a couple, a lot of the Lenovo and Dell, they make those micro PCs where I think they're like 7.5 inches wide. And I've seen where people build custom shelves and things like that to put them inside a 10-inch rack. So that's pretty cool, is that you can do all that. And then back to kind of customization wise, I forgot to mention this. If you go to Printables right now and just type in 10-inch rack, you can find a ton of prints for this project. So if you want to know, like, oh, I don't know if my gear will work because I don't have the correct bracket type, or I don't have a shelf for it, or everything that pretty much you will need, it will be on Printables if you type in custom shelf for so-and-so on a 10-inch rack. That's what I did for all my stuff, and the only thing that wasn't there was the 10 gig switch. And so I had to modify a file for, I think it was a TP-Link switch, 10 gig switch, and shrink it just a tiny bit, and it works perfectly fine. That's it for this build. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. Also, leave a comment down if you've already done this project, or if you have any suggestions to make mine better. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.